Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Ashe, Namaste, Hotep, Shalom, Assalamu alaikum, my brothers and sisters. No matter what faith you have, just know it's about spirituality. It's about your melanin. It's about your health. Alright? The mind is all, the universe is mental. And so today we're going to talk about food and the blood and our health. Because before anything, it starts with our health. So we got to understand what it needs. Alright? So the poison of mankind, blood types, copper deficiency, evolution theory, and the Illuminati. It's a blood typing farce. Alright? We, the original people, okay? Black, whatever you want to call it. If your blood type is O, that means you're the original man. So continuing on, we're going to look at this document. It's called the Psychopharmacology of Pictorial Pornography, Restructuring Brain, Mind, and Memory, and Subverting Freedom of Speech. Alright? This was published in January 2000. 1, 2, and 3. Alright, by Judith Reisman, the Institute for the basal ganglia and the cingulate, dorsal prefrontal cortex, the parietal, the brainstem. Right. So, however, getting the brain's attention. However, foregoing observation applies to both changing the brain for the better or for the worse via exogenous or endogenous drug production. And getting the brain's attention, science reports that dopamine appears to highlight and aid addiction to biologically significant stimuli, even when the rewards are long since passed. In this case, red pornographic autoerotic activity rather than merely signaling pleasure as previously thought. If the neurotransmitter dopamine may contribute to addiction, dopamine released within the brain highlights or draws attention to certain significant or surprising event, not just consuming a tasty morsel of food or engaging in sexual activity, but also events that predict rewards and stimuli like loud noises and flashing lights that are simply startling. By underscoring such events, say these researchers, the dopamine signal helps the animal learn to recognize them, and in some cases repeat them. Neuroscientist Candace Pert describes the body as a psychosomatic communication network with brain chemicals found throughout the body directly affecting the health of the immune system. Fearing soul or spirit, the scientific world denied the obvious, says Dr. Pert, that our brain-mind memories directly affect our physical well-being and ghettoize emotions. Pert supports the findings of Almond, Goldman, Reichstadt, Ladeau, Kennedy, Felton, and others. Alright, so you see memories are stored in the amygdala as rough, wordless blueprints for emotional life. Since the earliest emotion memories are established at a time before infants had words for their experience, when these emotional memories are triggered later in life, there is no matching set of articulated thoughts about the response that takes us over. If the underdeveloped child brain is psychopharmacologically altered by pornographic stimuli during waking and sleeping, this will violate claims of informed consent as it structurally alters the neurochemistry of the child's brain, the child's sense of self and reality. Children react with fear to the stimulus of sexual touch and sexual senses. Fear is necessary reaction by the normal child organism to sexual stimuli, for their immaturity leaves the child completely without cognitive or emotional tools to respond to sexual cues or touch. A child's exposure to sexual trigger will produce greater and lesser states of alarm, that is, trauma, resulting in altered neural systems, with the low probability of the child victim being aware of the trauma that is altered by his or her brain, mind, emotions, and memory. Especially in child trauma, Bruce Perry, MD, PhD, discusses child sexual abuse as setting off alarm mechanisms in children that impair the victimized child's cognitive and emotional development. Above is a schematic taken from childtraumaacademy.com, which also offers online courses in brain development and child trauma developed by Perez and his colleagues. Perez's schematic should be seen in concert with the graphic left taken from the National Institute of Health Smithsonian exhibit on the brain, stressing the processing difference between adult and child brains, specifically the child's gut emotional responses. Teens and children process emotions differently than adults. Viewing emotional images, teens activate the amygdala and brainstem that mediates fear, and other gut reacts more than the frontal lobe. So, how is developing child brain restructuring? By the pornographic release of inhibitory transmitters as well as vision of reality. Such states of sexual fear of arousal, a child's response to the flash of pornographic stimuli, says neuropsychologist Margaret Kemeny. A trigger alarm and an adrenaline rush, our pupils dilate and our hearts start to race. So pornographic imagery overwhelms speech. Right? Heart rate, blood pressure, increased largest muscles prepare for quick action. Right?
Yucky yuck.
Left brain, right brain functions.
That is a brain. That is a brain.
Okay. That's a brain?
Yes, that's a brain.
Say hello.
Hello, I got the put in the cold and I watch.
And what's our channel?
KWU TV.
KWU TV!
And you log on and subscribe.
Yeah!
Alright. Alright, let me finish this video. I'll be up in a sec.
Okay!
Say bye.
Bye!
Alright.
Go.
We got the right brain, insight, 3D forms, art awareness, imagination, music awareness, left hand control. Alright. Then your right hand, the scientific, right hand control, spoken language, reasoning, written language, and number skills. Those are left brain, right brain functions. Alright. When a split brain damaged patient was asked to fixate on the dot on the screen, a picture of a new woman is flashed to the left of the dot. Indee's face blushes as little, and she begins to giggle. She is asked what she saw. She says nothing, just a flash of light, and giggles again, covering her mouth with her hand. Why not? Why are you laughing then? Professor inquires. Yes. Oh, doctor, you have some machine, she replies. Right brain emotionally responded, blush, giggle, covers mouth, embarrassed by the new photo despite the fight that her left brain had lost cognitive ability to explain her embarrassment at the viewing millisecond new image, addressing human spirit specialization measure, Ristack notes, genetics and environment impact on our brain structure. Alright, the three main functions of the brain, alright, is to be alert, awake, and aware of reality, collect and store environmental information, and monitor and correct our conduct for health and well-being. It is under optimal waking conditions that the man can receive and analyze information, that the necessary selective systems of connections can be called to mind, his activity program and the course of his mental process checked, his mistakes corrected, and his activity kept to the proper course. The brain can be thought of as a map in which the position of its constituent neurons indicates what they do. It has structurally distinct cellular areas responsible for functions as diverse as sensory, perception, motor control, cognition. In fact, it is now understood that over 90% of all synapses in the brain use chemical transmission, excitatory transmission, as fast synapses occur in less than 1/1000th of a second. That's your brain working. the real quantum computer that the quantum computers were built off of. Understand that? Alright, so this is our memory system. Got your brain stem. Got your dorsal prefrontal cortex, hippocampus, and amygdala, medial temporal lobe. Alright, so a man relies largely on vision to relieve his uncertainty about the nature of things. Given the seed of suspicion, the human mind is capable of developing any kind of paranoid hybrid. The emphasis given to the capacity of vision both senses in this respect. There is an unpleasant feeling both to arouse and allay suspicion should not imply insignificant role of the other senses in this respect. There's an unpleasant feeling of fear attached to something that cannot be clearly identified. Emphasis added. So let's read it again. Man relies largely on vision to relieve his uncertainty about the nature of things. Given the seed of suspicion, the human mind is capable of developing any kind of paranoid hybrid. The emphasis given to the capacity of vision both to arouse and allay suspicion should not imply any significant role of the other senses in this respect. There's an unpleasant feeling of fear attached to something that cannot be clearly identified. Then we go down here. Gary Lynch of the University of California, Irvine, points out that a word or slight libidinous or spiritual can immediately alter brain structure. In a matter of seconds, taking a incredibly modest signal, a word which is in your head as an electrical signal for more than a few seconds, can leave a trace that will last for years. Any confusing image or experience is processed as novelty, and the brain's response to novelty is attention. All pornography is experienced as provocative novelty initially. Note the need to changing the novelty stimulates the centerfold and surrounding entrappings readily. Once the brain adjusts to one provocative stimuli, the pornographer will substitute another and another and another. Other research has shown that in the first few milliseconds of our perceiving something, we not only unconsciously comprehend what it is, but we decide whether we like it or not. Cognitive unconscious presents our awareness with not just the identity of what we see, but opinion about it. Our emotions have a mind of their own, one which can hold views quite independently of our rational mind. Those unconscious opinions are emotional memories. Their storehouse is the amygdala, the very same neurochemical alerting system that prime the body to react to life-threatening emergencies by fighting or fleeing. Also stamp the moment in memory with vividness. The more intense the amygdala arousal, the stronger the imprint. The experience that scare or thrill us the most in life are among our most indelible memories. That means that in effect the brain has two memory systems, one for ordinary facts and one for emotionally charged ones. Emphasis added. Without exception, one's dominant memories are emotional, not cognitive.